Working on a small scale, Patterson set to work to see if he could improve the performance of the heat-generating cell he'd recorded in his notebooks 6 years earlier. His key component is the catalyst, in the form of hundreds of tiny beads.
The most crucial element is the thin metal-coated beads, made up of nickel, palladium, nickel.
Patterson holds the patent for the unique structure of the beads. Microscopic corrugations in the surface provide the largest possible reactive area. There are 1,300 of these beads in the prototype cell. Like so many inventors, Patterson works entirely by trial and error. He modifies one variable after another to achieve better results. But he's not entirely sure which aspects of the design have the greatest effects. The beads are packed into a narrow cylinder, and the electrolyte, distilled water plus 1% lithium sulfate, is pumped into the chamber, while a low voltage is pulsed across the metal beads. As oxygen and hydrogen are given off, a reaction that's not visible to the naked eye seems to take place on or near the surface of the beads. It produces totally unexpected amounts of heat. Their calculations indicate that the cell is producing many times the energy it consumes. No one can yet explain this anomaly.
Well, the interesting thing about the Patterson device is it involves water, but it doesn't split the water in the same way that Stanley Mayer's device does. It simply uses it as a medium, and it generates a lot of excess heat. In his case, a lot of excess heat. The figures he's now quoting are really very, very high indeed. Exactly what is going on isn't clear, but recently they've begun pulsing the water medium inside the device, and this is why they're getting much better results. And throughout a lot of these devices, you have this high pulse voltage as a kind of theme running through it.
The Patterson cell has had several public demonstrations. There is, of course, a very considerable controversy over the figures. At present, the only thing that all scientists agree on is that there isn't a current scientific theory that explains the extraordinary amount of excess energy.
We wanted a more conservative interpretation of the numbers, the most conservative we could, and see if there's still something there. Before, we were seeing measurements of just 30% more heat out than electrical energy in. After we improved it and tightened up things, we have gotten tens of times out as in.
This is an area of physics that especially seems to draw amateurs to, and or low-tech labs, and so therefore they don't have a lot of money to spend on the apparatus. But the first things put together by some maverick in his garage are probably going to be pretty low-tech and pretty crude. But that's okay.